What's good, Joe? What's good, Real Talk Squad? This is Miles, and you're listening to Real Talk of Miles Johnson, where we always keep it real. Now, in this episode, I have a special guest, my guy, Jansen Harris. If you don't know who Jansen Harris is, he is the CEO of the Just Good Network. I've been following this guy for pretty much, I think, around a year now. Been following the show on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. He has great takes. He has great content. So be sure to follow him. It's going to be in the link down below in the description. But again, Jansen, thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you, Miles, man. I'm having fun, and I'm glad football's back, and I'm excited to be on your show. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. And so let's get right into it. I'm from Philly. You're from Atlanta. Am I right? You're from Atlanta?
Well, originally from New York, but I'm here now.
Okay. So you're here now.
Basically.
Okay, so now you're here now. I know you like the Falcons, like the Hawks. So what happened, with the Falcons? What was your reaction to the Falcons getting, blown out off the field, 32-6? What was your reaction to the week one loss to the Eagles?
Let me say this. I made a video and I questioned Jalen Hurts and what him and this offense was going to look like. Well, they answered that bell. Jalen Hurts, he was phenomenal. He made the big time plays. He stood in the pocket. Your offensive line was outstanding. They had a clean pocket for him. Everybody played well. Smith, that was a great rookie debut. And the thing that I liked about him the most was this. He was hated on in college. He won the Heisman, still disrespected because of his size. But he said, hey, we're not bodybuilders. We're football players. So look, the Eagles, they punched the Falcons in the mouth. Falcons didn't do anything about it. That's how simple it was to me. The Falcons didn't show up. They look worse than I thought they were going to look. I thought the Falcons would squeeze out this game at home. But the Eagles are making me view the Falcons like they're in rebuild mode. Even how you guys guarded Kyle Pitts. Outstanding tight coverage. The whole Eagles team, they deserve their flowers for that. Do I feel like the Eagles and Eagles fans might be mad at me when I say this? I had a couple messages put on Facebook and stuff thinking the Cowboys just are going to win the NFC East, but maybe I'll be wrong about that too. We'll see. Maybe it'll be tighter than I think. Because I always thought the Eagles defense was pretty good up front. I knew you guys would be solid up front, but I didn't know if Jalen Hurts was going to make those plays down the field, especially with the new coaching staff. I didn't even know the Eagles, how much they even believed in him. Then I didn't really believe much in your guys' wide receiving core, but you guys look fantastic. If we go by just week one, Eagles look like a playoff team. Eagles look like a playoff team, and the Falcons look like they want to draft in top 5. You feel me? The offense, they had a couple good runs, but let's just keep it real. Matt Ryan didn't look good. And here in Atlanta, we always make excuses for him, but he didn't look good at all. He didn't look dynamic. He looks washed up. The offensive line looked terrible. Cordell Patterson, I think he had a couple pretty good runs. He was probably maybe the best player on the offense outside of Jake Matthews, the left tackle, the only offensive line who played well. But Falcons lost, man. Eagles outplayed them every phase of the game. Eagle fans, I saw some clips of you and other Eagle fans at the game. And I'm glad you was with people because these Atlanta people are crazy. They be threatening me. You feel me? It's all online chatter. But yeah, I see y'all say, "Hey, this is our house now," and it was.
But yeah, when I came, it was like. It was a good number of Eagles fans there. It was a good number. I took a video of like the whole crowd at the end of the game or like around the end of the game, and there was a lot of Eagles fans there. So I was surprised by that. But my thoughts on the game, kind of with you. I was surprised with how everybody played with Jalen Hurts. Now I always believed in him. I know guys, they've said that they don't really trust his passing. If he can throw the ball downfield. I know that he's a leader and he's going to get the wins and he's a leader. He's a winner. He's a dog. And I feel like in Philly, like I've said all the time in the past, you have to be a dog to play in Philly. And I just feel like Jalen Hurts represents what it means to be a Philadelphia Eagle. Guys like Devontae Smith, we saw that over the top pass. Jalen Hurts threw to Devontae. Devontae Smith, he had 70 plus yards, a TD. Jalen Reagor, we're looking for him to take that next step after he had a disappointing rookie season. But in his second year, we're looking for him to take that next leap. And he had a touchdown yesterday. And Goddard too, I feel like with Zach Ertz and Goddard, that's a pretty good tight end duo. And so offensively, I mean, they were doing this thing. And defensively, we were just getting to Matt Ryan. And, he had a pretty long day out there. I mean, he kept getting hit. He had 9 QB hits. Guys like what's his name? Javon Hargrave, he had 3 QB hits. Hassan Ridgeway had 3 QB hits. You already know Brandon Graham is going to get in there. So it was our whole defensive line just manhandled the Falcons offensive line. And I feel like that pretty much told the story of the entire game. And like you, I thought sitting in the stands because I was there, I'm like, okay, so the Falcons had, I believe at the end of the half, it might have been 13-6 or 15-6. But I'm thinking like the Falcons can come back and all that. But in that second half, the defense was just unstoppable. It was just dominant in the second half. And so that's really what I took away from it. Do you think that, because we're talking about Matt Ryan and he had pretty much an atrocious game. Do you think the Falcons should have drafted Kyle Pitts at number 4, or should they have looked elsewhere at a Justin Fields, I look at another quarterback in the draft, of Mac Jones. You feel like they should have made that move? I know it's kind of tricky with Matt Ryan's contract. He has a pretty big contract, so how all that would work out. But do you think that the Falcons should have looked in that direction of getting a quarterback instead of getting Kyle Pitts?
Yes, to answer your question, I thought they should have drafted Justin Fields. I thought that was the right pick for the Falcons. I was on the bandwagon of saying, hey, welcome home. Welcome home. Got a Georgia kid. He went to Georgia for some odd reason. They let him go to Ohio State, but that's a different conversation. And he was really, really good at Ohio State. He clearly a top 5 talent, clearly a quarterback who should have got drafted at number 4. I thought with Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot, the new front office, you bring in Justin Fields. But they didn't want to do that. Okay, whatever. Let's say I'm the idiot who's just lost his mind with the Justin Fields pick. Then why not go offensive line? Because if you go on Twitter, Falcons Twitter, and there's a lot of excuse makers. If Ryan had the best offensive line, if he had a really good offensive line, then we would have won a Super Bowl, or he would have won a couple of rings, or we would be in the playoffs every year. Then why go tight end? Why go tight end? I think it was a mistake. But again, It's just one game. But me personally, I thought Justin Fields was the right pick at number 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I just feel like.
Sorry about that. And I think, too, Kyle Pitts, he might be a really good player in this league, but who's going to be throwing him the ball? Because Matt Ryan, no matter if you're his biggest fan or his biggest critic, to me, when you just look at it from the perspective of just not in Atlanta, you see all the quarterbacks playing around. Since 2018, Matt Ryan isn't the same quarterback. He's not the same quarterback even from 2016. Clearly, 2016, he was on top of the world. I give him his credit, his flowers. He was pretty good in 2017. They got to the playoffs. Defense was pretty good. 2018, Matt Ryan was really good, maybe borderline great, but nobody cared outside of people in Atlanta. I'll give him credit for that year. But you look at 19, you look at 20, Matt Ryan is not the same player. He's not the same quarterback. A lot of Falcon fans need to wake up. Terry Fontenot needs to wake up. Because if the Falcons go 4-12 this season, you're going to have another decision on your hands. Are you going to go quarterback in that first round? Are you going to go edge rusher? That's also a problem, the edge rusher.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't see Matt Ryan, the fantasy of, oh, well, he's just going to lead this Falcons team back to the playoffs. He's going to lead this Falcons team to a deep playoff run, maybe NFC championship game or Super Bowl. I don't see high-level play to Matt Ryan. Well, I will see maybe he could be above average this season, put up some displayable numbers. He's not the type of quarterback who's going to turn the ball over a lot. However, he's not the type of quarterback who is going to elevate this team and be dangerous. He's not that type of guy anymore. Matt Ryan, he'll be good, serviceable, but he's 36 years old. He's getting old. And we saw it week 1. It wasn't all offensive line or the defense was bad. Matt Ryan looked old.
Definitely. And I thought from the jump that they should have got Justin Fields, a guy that, with a bad offensive line, is a guy that can get away, from those pass rushers, or at least give you a chance. But a guy like Matt Ryan is like, if you had Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, whoever going at him, he's not a guy that's going to run past you, put the burners on you. That's not Matt Ryan. And that offensive line, the offensive line, the defensive line were both atrocious yesterday. And I mean, on Sunday, and we're gonna see, I guess what happens this season. What's your expectations for the Falcons this season? I mean, I heard some people saying, my man Smitty, I think he had them going to the playoffs. What's your expectations after week one? A lot of times we like to overreact about week one, but this didn't look too good. So, what's your expectation for the Falcons? After seeing what happened in week one, but what's your expectations for them this season?
I thought the Falcons before week one could get to potentially 10 to 11 wins. But again, when I look at Carolina, when I look at New Orleans, when I look at Atlanta, things could easily go either way. All those teams, a lot of unknowns around them. Who thought that Jameis Winston would do what he did yesterday, throwing 5 touchdown passes, getting that W, eating that W, you feel me? Yeah. I love that video. But it's tough, man. After week one, the Falcons look like they'll go like 2-15 or just win 4 games again. But I'll stick to what I say. Maybe 9-10 wins. 9-10 wins. Terry Fontenot, and this ain't me. You go look at the quotes. Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith, by their actions, not drafting a quarterback at number 4, and by what they're saying, this is win now mode. This isn't rebuilding. So you're telling the fan base that you plan on going to the playoffs. Is that what that means without saying it? We're not rebuilding. We're win now means go to the playoffs. Yeah. And people outside of Atlanta are like, you guys are crazy. Rebuild mode. I'm talking to some people in Seattle. They're telling me, dude, you are crazy for even asking me this question if the Falcons will make the playoffs. This is a rebuilding team. I know you right now, you and Philly and guys around Philly, you guys are like, yo, these Atlanta people are crazy. Yeah. Like they look like that was like a practice squad varsity type of game. They got defeated. It was a spanking. So
they made us look good.
Yeah. They made the Eagles look like, damn, maybe Jalen Hurts is better than I thought. Maybe he deserves more credit because I thought Jalen Hurts, and this is why I knew Carson Wentz was a true fraud with the Eagles, was when he came in and the offense it was better, the more energy. Yep. It wasn't predictable. He was making plays outside the pocket. Even with the offensive line being banged up and just terrible, I think you guys gave up the most sacks last year. He was able to elude some of that, get out of the pocket, make some plays with his arm. So I give him credit. He still has to prove it this year. But again, so far, so good. But shoot, the Falcons made him look like an all-pro type of player. So there's a lot of issues right now with the Falcons. The only thing they could tip their hat on is the running game. It looked better than last year. But again, it looked like Matt Ryan was better under Dirk Cutter and Dan Quinn so far. So It's only one game, and it's hard to read these things. I'm going to stick to my 9-10 wins, but let's see how week 2 goes. Tampa Bay, I think they're going to fight harder because they have to, but most people are going to say that's blowout city, and Tom Brady's going to have one of those games, and the offensive line for the Falcons is going to crumble from that great defensive line, but we'll see. Those division games sometimes get tight and tricky, and it's the NFL, so anything could happen. But, yeah, the Falcons are in trouble. If they lose week 2, we need to do this again. If they lose week 2, ask me the same question, because if they go 0-2, and then the week after 0-3, they could have some problems.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I feel like, and I believe I might have said this on your podcast last time, your show last time we had, everybody on there. And you tell everybody the predictions for the Falcons this season. I think I said around 4 wins, and I thought that was being generous. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like this team is not even close to making the playoffs. I mean, and I think after week 1 with a guy like, nobody in the right mind would have thought that Jameis Winston is gonna throw 5 touchdown passes. Oh, yeah. So you already have the Buccaneers, who's a lock to get out the play. You already have the Saints now with Sean Payton's playing, play calling, their defense. Doesn't matter if Drees is out. That defense is still legit. You might be, the Panthers. I don't really expect much from them, but you still have the Saints and the Buccaneers in that division. And I think it's going to be hard to get 9-10 wins, as you said. And again, you talked about Jalen Hurts, and I feel like, this season with the Eagles is like, I had pretty low expectations just based off last season. But I still believe in Jalen Hurts. I still feel like he deserves a chance this season, and this is what they're giving him is a chance. And I feel like he's gonna make the most of this opportunity. But seeing the way they played, now maybe it's because Atlanta is that bad, but everything clicked for the Eagles. Nick Sirianni, our coach, felt like he knew what he was doing. The players looked inspired. They looked like they were playing, for somebody. I feel like last year it was pretty much dead. It was like Carson Wentz wasn't really that. He isn't that leader, that was in that Eagles locker room. And you have reports that he was mad about Jalen Hurts being drafted and all of this. But now they have a leader in Jalen Hurts that's gonna lead them, to the promised land. And I think that they could eventually win the NFC East. But again, we have to see what goes on. Again, they play the Bucks, the 49ers in a couple of weeks as well. So we're gonna see. It's hard to determine stuff, especially week one. And with we have to see whether the Eagles are this good or the Falcons are this bad. But man, I appreciate you for coming on the show, man. Just giving all your insight, all your knowledge, dropping gems. And again, thank you for coming on here, Jansen. And if y'all don't already, be sure to follow him at the Just Good Network on Instagram. I'm gonna have everything on there, and that Jansen Harris. But again, thank you, man, for coming on.
Thank you, sir. I had a blast. You keep doing what you're doing, man. Doing a lot of great work. I love what you're doing. And I appreciate you inviting me on. Let's do it again.
For sure. And with that being said, y'all, we out.